Bolovinaka and welcome to Talk Business. Tonight on the show, we will be speaking to the head of marketing and business success and brand success rather of BSP Life, Janine Pentueli. Bolovinaka, Janine, thank you for joining us on the show tonight.
Bolovinaka Parama, and thank you very much for having me here. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. A big Bolovinaka as well to all of those who have tuned in this evening.
Now, before we go into the core subject of our conversation tonight on the show, talk to us about the work of BSP Life, and for those that are unfamiliar with life and health insurance, what can you say about the importance of having an insurance?
Okay, so basically just to demystify and help people understand what life insurance is. Life insurance is a financial tool that people use firstly for protection, meaning if somebody is financially dependent on you, you insure yourself, which we call the sum insured. So you choose a value, for example, 50,000, and you insure yourself, and you nominate a beneficiary. So and then you choose a term. So our terms begin from 10 years to 25 years, and some a little bit more, depending on the product you choose. So if anything happens to you, you meet an untimely loss, so you pass on, a payout is made to your loved ones or those people who are financially dependent on you, whom you have chosen as beneficiaries. So it's a safety net, and that's what we call the protection element of a life insurance policy. The second bit is about, it has a savings and an investment component. And when I say savings, I mean it's a compulsory payment of premiums. So most people who take out a policy, they pay premiums every payday, and that's deducted from their salary source. The final component is the investment component, which they receive bonuses. So each year BSP Life declares a bonus. A bonus is allocated on the life insurance policy. So these are for specifically policies with an investment linked. Each year BSP allocates a bonus. The bonus goes and is attached to the sum insured and grows value on that policy. And that is done on a compounding basis. So essentially, in a life insurance policy that you take with BSP Life, you have the protection element, the savings, and the investment element. So just to put it simply, if somebody is financially dependent on you, then you need a life insurance policy. So we have a look at the untimely passing, we look at the impact of NCDs in Fiji. We all know that at the moment NCDs account for 85% of deaths in Fiji, which is 85 of every 100 people who pass on. And most of those deaths are untimely and they are premature.
Right.
So what happens to, what happens to people, what happens to families when the key breadwinners pass on? So then we think of how life insurance can help these families, and then we understand why it's important. A lot of people think about, oh, if I pass on, there's my FNPF to help. But then we also take time out to think about, okay, what's happening at your FNPF account, right? So people are able to withdraw for housing needs, for educational needs, over the time of their careers. So some of that, what they would have used in retirement or would have passed on in untimely passing, it has been depleted. So life insurance, in my view, is very important for people to consider to support their life goals, to support those who are financially dependent on them moving forward if they meet a premature death. And as I mentioned, it's also an excellent savings and investment component because they earn bonuses from the investment portfolio. Right?
And you mentioned bonuses how does BSP Life ensure that its customers and policymakers continues to get value for their investment year by year?
Okay, so Parama, we got to step a little back and I got to answer that, describing what happens to the investment portfolio. So BSP Life has an investment portfolio where, as I've mentioned, the returns, part of those returns are paid out to the policyholder. It is also what runs and generates profit for the business, so that when, for example, somebody has a maturity, there's funds to be paid out.
Right.
So this whole large investment portfolio is financially strong, it's well diversified, it's a 1.2 million. BSP Life's investment portfolio now is the second largest investor in Fiji, behind the FNPF. So we've been in the business in life insurance for over 149 years now. We're moving towards 150th anniversary, which will happen next year. So from the first policy that was issued in 1876, the organization has not changed its purpose. Its purpose then was to ensure that we kept our promise and delivered on the maturity value of that for that person, right? So 149 years later, that purpose has not changed. So the whole team, whole BSP Life, we work diligently, we work smartly, we use innovation, we team to ensure, from the board level to the executives, to our staff, to people around the subsidiaries, to ensure that the investment portfolio is churning and it delivers sustainable returns for customers. And the bonus itself is the profit sharing for policyholders who have a policy which is investment linked. So that's how policyholders or our customers ensure that they get the returns. So the trust that our customers place in us is not something that we take for granted. We're very, very gratifying. It's a very gratifying experience when we are able to allocate these bonuses, because we understand the commitment that customers have to continue to pay their premiums to keep their policies alive for the full term. And like I mentioned, the terms are not 1 or 2 years. We're talking about 10, 15, 20, 25 years. So to continue to pay premiums year on year for 25 years, you tell me, that is a huge commitment.
Right.
So at work at BSP Life, we don't take that lightly. So we work very diligently and to ensure that there are sustainable returns for our customers.
Janine, we'll go to a quick commercial break and we'll be back with more. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Talk Business, and we'll continue our conversation or discussion with Janine Pentueli, the head of marketing and brand success at BSP Life. Now, we were talking about the bonuses, customer bonuses, and we see how BSP Life investment portfolio plays a very crucial part in customer bonuses. Can you explain the connection to us?
Okay, thanks, Deborah. When we look at BSP Life customers, right? So I'd like to start by saying that, they play a very important part in helping drive our economy. So each time we collect premiums, these premiums come and they're invested in that investment portfolio. So our investment portfolio is very much diversified, as I've mentioned. So it's in a broad range of asset classes, broad range of industries. BSP Life has, for example, a luxury hotel, supermarkets, interest in a private hospital, to name a few. Rooster Poultry in partnership with the FNPF. So each time they pay their premium, they can get the satisfaction that they are helping create employment across Fiji for many, many Fijian families. Right? And if you can picture each job starter, somebody who's starting work in one of these industries, they're giving that person an opportunity to be financially independent, to start his adult life, You know, they're giving Fiji families in those industries or in those organizations, helping the parents put food on the table. That's exactly what they're doing when each time that they pay the premium. So they're paying the premium for one thing, to get the protection, savings, and investment on their policies. Plus, they're also assisting drive employment in Fiji, you know, and in that way, they participate towards, you know, economic development for everybody. So that's the link that they have, and they should be very, how shall I say, be very happy about, you know, the impact and the positive impact that their premiums are making. So it's not easy for people to have that financial discipline over that length of time, 10 years, 15 years, and that's what we're talking about. So when somebody wants to take up a policy, he's making a very wise decision for himself, for his loved ones, and for Fiji's economy. You know, so whenever we pay a bonus, it's understanding about all of that together. So we're very, 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 very delighted and happy about the bonus allocation for customers. The investment portfolio also manages and pays out maturities, you know, survival benefits. And last year, customer benefits total was 99 million. 70% of that 99 million, or around 70 million, was paid out to people who were living. So 70 million was shared for maturities, for cash returns. I mean, how good is that? You know, it allows people to support their life plans. There's so many people working today who have ambitions about starting their own businesses when they leave or retire. Aspirations to clear all their mortgage before they retire. You know, they have aspirations to see their young children through tertiary without having to depend on a scholarship or anything else. So a life insurance policy can help people achieve all of that. But they must make the wise decision to pick up one, and they must have that commitment to continue to pay the premium whenever it's due and on time.
There's so many benefits that comes along with it.
Yeah.
What are some of the trends that you've noticed with life insurance?
Yeah, so just recently, we've noticed two things. One is somebody who has a policy has taken another. So we have people with multiple policies. Just recently, we've also noticed that a lot of young people today are starting to come on board and pick up a life insurance policy. And, you know, that's a testament to all the financial literacy that has been running, a testament to their business acumen, their investment acumen, and things that they may have been picking up around the market, on social media, in school, from their commercial studies, you know, in tertiary. So that's really wonderful to see. Because as I have mentioned, Eparama, the best about bonuses and how they compound year on year and add value. So when a young person comes and picks up a policy, his premium is calculated on his age for everybody. So the younger you are, the cheaper the premium is for you. And that is the same premium amount you will pay for the term of the policy, regardless of whether it's 10 years or 15 years or 20. You pay the same premium, and you get all of those benefits year on year. So it's really beneficial for younger people. Females would pay premiums which were cheaper, 3 years cheaper than their male counterparts. So, and that's because in terms of mortality, we have males who pass on at younger ages than women. Right? So women get a hand up,
Right.
so to speak, when they pick up a life insurance policy. The other trend, the other thing I'd like to just close this your question with is, you know, as a wife and a mother, the need to ensure that financial literacy is shared as much as possible, and it's got to start with the parents. So if you're a wife and a mother listening into this segment, you know, I really encourage you to think about life insurance and to start having some savings habits. then only when you're living it can you pass it on to your children, so that they build stronger futures. You build a stronger future, and they also build stronger futures for themselves. And at the same time, everyone who is taking out a life insurance policy is also helping Fiji's economy by way of creating employment.
You mentioned about financial literacy, and that's one of the core key value BSP Life
in trying to promote financial literacy. Why is this such a key focus for BSP Life?
Eparama, it's a key focus for us because basically the understanding and the knowledge of life insurance in Fiji is really low. So we have all, for a long time, life insurance has included a lot of jargon. And BSP Life has, over the last couple of years, tried to demystify what life insurance is. And so, I mentioned before, just simply we say to people, say, what is life insurance? So we say, okay, just think of it like this. It's about your spouse keeping the home, your children continuing the life that you planned for them, right? And we just say, if there's somebody financially dependent on you, you need life insurance.
Janine will continue that discussion when we come back. We'll go to a quick commercial break and we'll be back with more. Don't go anywhere. Janine, we will continue our discussion on how financial literacy is a key focus for BSP Life.
Well, Eparama, for a long time, life insurance has been a complicated subject for people complicated for people to understand. So over the last couple of years, we've tried to what we call demystify what life insurance is. And basically, we use an integrated channel mix to get the message out in everyday speak, at times translated into the vernacular and Hindustani, for people to understand just simply what life insurance is. If I was to give an advice for young people, it probably is one of the most useful and effective financial tools that they can use to support their life plans. And I'm saying this as a woman, as a mother, and as a Pacific Islander because of our culture here. Right. I'll just give you a quick example. So each year, on the 1st of January, everybody starts making New Year's resolutions. 99% of the time, everyone has a savings goal for the year. So people in the workforce, they have a savings account, they transfer money there every payday, and everything's going nice till, life happens, right? So there's somebody who celebrates, for example, a 60th birthday in our family. Somebody needs emergency medical treatment. So, we're part of a village. We can't be happy about having X thousands of dollars in the account. In the back of our minds, we know that. Without people in our family and our village needing money, right? So we will eventually withdraw and give that money. So come December, and things like that happen during the year.
True.
Right? So come December, everybody's a bit happy with whatever happened during the year, but you have not achieved your savings goal. Right? I mean, that's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing for the person. So with life insurance, you don't get an ATM card or you don't get a withdrawal slip. Right? Each time you pay your premium, it goes, and what I've spoken about, it goes and it's invested in this big investment portfolio. So you can't come again and ask us to withdraw just because you want to make use of a Black Friday sale or zero deposit, whatever it is. You can't. So my advice is, if you're looking for a compulsory saving, one that you earn bonuses, and one that has a protection element, life insurance is for you. It's the best financial tool that you can take.
Mm.
And you don't have to, take one with a very high sum insured. You can take one policy that you can afford. It can be tailored to suit your affordability.
Right.
So if you can take a sum insured for 20,000, you take one for 20,000. You can take one for 50,000, 100,000, or 10,000. We can easily tailor it to fit your affordability, and you pay that on time each time to keep the policy active, to give you the protection you want, and to get your savings and investment in place. Now, over the span of somebody's career, say 3 years later, he might get a promotion, or he might get a pay increase, he has some surplus. He can take that and purchase another policy, right? He doesn't have to have only one. He can take multiple policies that pay out over his lifespan, so that it supports the different goals he has over his life. He might get married, there's funds for the marriage. He might have a child, then he might want to go back to school and do some university studies, you see. People have different aspirations as they grow.
Right.
And so the life insurance policy is a perfect financial tool for them to use.
We were talking about savings and life insurance. How can life insurance and savings work together as part of a smart financial strategy?
Okay, so on the life insurance policy itself, the life insurance policy has 3 elements. One is the protection element, where if you pass on, a payment is made to your beneficiaries. The next one is savings. So it's savings in the way that it's a compulsory saving. You've got to pay towards the sum insured that you've chosen. Right? So you're paying towards a maturity you're going to get in the future. And number 3, it has an investment element. So whatever you're paying in terms of premium and savings, this bonus that's from the investment portfolio is added on a compounding basis. So it grows your savings over time, adding value to that policy. Now there's products which, over the term of the policy, gives the person cash returns every 3 years. So there's some every 3 years, some in the last 5 years of the policy, depending on what the person's life plan is and when he'd like to get those cash returns. So the different products he takes for different purposes. So it's a smart, very smart way to manage your finances, because once paid, one, you can't go and get it back and waste it elsewhere. And 2, you know that it's working for you. You're going to get a return on from the investment portfolio by way of bonus. And 3, that if you keep yourself well and live out that term, you're going to receive a maturity payout, right, that has compounded year on year for the duration of that policy. So in terms of being smart, it actually has 3 components that you can use, so you don't have to have, for example, one particular financial tool to cover protection, one particular financial tool to cover savings, another to cover investments. You can have all of that in one financial tool that you can be tailored to suit your affordability. You see?
Janine, our time on the show is now almost coming to an end. Just final words. Is there anything that you would like to say in regards to life insurance?
I think everyone should consider a life insurance policy as part of their life plans. Not just because you've got this whole big financial strategy for yourself, but because you're thinking about your life, you're thinking about your loved ones, you're mitigating your risks if you meet a premature passing. Right? Lots of us don't give ourselves that opportunity to sit down and think a little. And at Parama, we did some research around gender for life insurance. And the worst ones affected were women, because we found they weren't picking up policies as much as men were. So we wanted to find out why was this happening. And what we found was women don't simply give themselves enough time to think about, what do I want in the future? How can I effectively manage my risks? You see? Most of the women in the mass market who were married and had children and were working went from work, home, pick up the sasa, or pick up the child, or pick up the pot, and start the second part of their day. You see, and by the time they got into bed, they simply had no, and that went on over and over and over again. So they simply didn't have time to sit down and get a reality check of where I'm up to, how far am I from retirement, have I got enough in FNPF to support the retirement that I want? What will happen to my children if anything happened to me and my income was removed from this family? Or what would happen to me and this house and my children if something happened to my husband and we did not have his income anymore, you see? So my advice would be, you know, reach out and explore the life insurance option. I'm really certain you won't be sorry.
Thank you so much, Janine, for coming on Talk Business tonight.
Unfortunately, time has caught up with us, and we hope that our viewers are now truly understands the meaning of insurance, life insurance, and they'll eventually consider coming to BSP Life and purchasing, getting some policies from BSP Life. We wish you all the best, and we hope that you'll come back again for another time to discuss more. And that's Talk Business for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or queries, you can send us an email at news@fijitv.com.fj. Join us again next week, same time, same place. Good night.